Thanks for staying with us right here on The Conversation. Now, in the first half, we dealt with situations in Somalia where a new president has been elected, Hassan Sheikh Mohamud, amidst political instability, corruption, security, famine. Well, we do hope to see what Hassan is going to do in Somalia as he takes over the helms of affairs. Right now, we move to situations in Kenya where we understand that the two major presidential candidates have picked their running mates. Now, Deputy President William Ruto has named Mathira Member of Parliament Rigathi Gachagua as his running mate, bringing to an end a month of heightened anxiety and speculation over his deputy choice. Speaking at his current official residence, Ruto said after a 17-hour meeting, Kenya Kwanza Alliance settled on Gachagua because he is an astute debater, a principled, resilient and fearless fighter for the right cause.
Now, in other developments, Emil, Rita Omodia, One Kenya Alliance presidential candidate Raila Odinga has picked a NARC Kenyan party leader, Martha Karua, as his running mate. Raila made the announcement on Monday at the Kenyatta International Convention Center. The event was graced by party leaders allied to the Azimio One Kenya Alliance coalition. Now, join us on the conversation this evening to discuss this. We have Szabolcs Emil Kovacs, Risk Solution Africa, joining it live from Dubai in the United Arab Emirates. We also have Richard Bosire, political analyst from Kenya, joins in from Kisii in Kenya, and Declan Galvin, who's the head of Insight, Information and Intelligence at WS Insight in Nairobi, Kenya. A warm welcome to you all, gentlemen. Thanks for joining us on the conversation.
Thank you.
Now, I'd like to start with Declan. The two major parties' presidential candidates have finally named their choice of running mates ahead of the Kenyan Electoral Commission and Boundaries Commission deadline. How do you react to this announcement?
Well, this has been a long journey. As we know, they were due to make these announcements many weeks ago. And then they managed to persuade the IEBC and other stakeholders to push that deadline. They were also due to make these announcements over the weekend, and both camps actually had to kind of pull out those announcements last moment, leading us up to today. So that's quite fascinating. The second thing is, both of the nominees are from Central Kenya, Kikuyus, which would speak to their longer-term strategy as they begin electioneering.
Declan, can you hear us?
Yes.
All right, so over to you right now, Szabolcs. Now, while we mentioned the issues of the deputy presidents, or rather the candidates for deputy president, did any of these choices come to you as a surprise? I mean, take a look at Martha Karua as the first female deputy vice president. Did any of this come to you as a surprise?
No, actually not. So I think it went to deep negotiation and also to a strategy from both candidates to how to get more political advantage, and also regarding the elections. And after that, they decided for themselves which is best for their political campaign, and to also to have the team together to get the campaign started ahead of the elections.
Back to you, Declan. Looking at the choice of vice president and deputy president, as it's called in Kenya, does this have any electoral significance, or are they just focused on the big players, the Ruto and the Odinga, the heads of the person that will emerge as head of state? Or does this have any part, the choice of vice president, would he play any part in, does he have any electoral value?
In this case, both candidates coming from the same community, it speaks to the significance of Central Kenya and turnout there for both sides. Both individuals bring kind of a range of other skills or access to the table, and that's going to be significant. However, I would say one of the most significant events, which we can unpack and discuss later, has been the decision by Kalonzo Musyoka to actually announce he's going to go alone. That will carry tremendous significance as we move forward.
Now, stay with you, Declan, and it's just let's just thrash it out. Now, Kalonzo Musyoka used to be part of this One Kenya alliance. It was hoping to be named as the deputy president, the running mate to Raila Odinga. It didn't happen. Is he being a gentleman by leaving the alliance and saying he wants to go it alone? And what electoral value does he have? Could he act as a spoiler?
So precisely, it's hard to predict with great certainty, particularly in this shape of Kenyan politics. But we have been developing a sense that the race could be quite tight. And so somebody like Kalonzo saying, I'm going to run as a third-party candidate, that whichever percent, 2-3%, whatever it is he's able to turn out, that in the end could actually force a runoff election. Now, we've got a lot of run strip between then and now, so I don't want to say that we're heading toward a runoff. But with this announcement today, Kalonzo must know that he's upping the stakes. And I think likely what his strategy is to try to force a runoff and then negotiate a stronger position between the first and second runoff, or at least bring this down to the wire and then endorse somebody closer to the August 9th poll. Something along those lines is probably what he's considering.
Now, Szabolcs, let's look at the running mate for Raila Odinga. He picked former Justice Minister Martha Karua. Now, we also know that Raila Odinga and, of course, the ruling president, Uhuru Kenyatta, have been on this BBI, that's the Building Bridges Initiative. But we also know that she has vehemently opposed to the BBI. Now, would this be an issue among the electorates?
I think not. I think not. It's a good approach also to create a little bit of diversity, and I think also both major candidates try to exploit to the maximum. And I think that it will not create any whatsoever backlash for for the candidate.
So where exactly does she stand? Because earlier on she was opposed to the BBI, but now being Raila Odinga's running mate, does it mean she is now for the BBI, or where exactly does she stand?
That's hard to tell, because I think that's at the same internal negotiations and how she decided to team up and to get into this campaign and to be the running mate. So it's hard to say as an outsider, but I think, yeah, it was some negotiations between both, and there were some agreements made, and then she decided what's best, and then she joined the campaign.
Thank you, Szabolcs. Let's try to bring in Richard Bosire in Kisii, Kenya. Hi, Richard. Can you hear us? Are you there? Hello, Richard. Okay, I think we still don't have Richard online. We'll keep trying. And now back to you, Declan. Deputy President Ruto's choice of running mate, Mr. Gachagua, who is facing trial on charges of corruption and money laundering worth $65 million, which he has denied. Do you think this will put a blip on the record and the choice of his running mate coming into the campaign season, and will it be a dent on his chances of becoming president?
So not really. I don't think this is going to be a major factor in it. In short, there are numerous politicians who are running with checkered histories, and even who are embroiled in current scandals. And it doesn't seem to be a major determining factor in terms of voter support. I don't think it's going to harm him in a significant way, unless, barring something, new coming out that could be problematic.
All right, now, Szabolcs, if we look at the history now, for the first time, the favorites are not from the Kikuyu clan. Now, how much of a role does ethnicity play, especially in Kenyan politics?
It plays a lot because, we are facing three major challenges for this Kenyan elections. And also that we know that both major contestants have a history for inciting electoral violence. Then we have also the climate change concerns, and then we have the political constellations. So, it's a little bit hard to tell, but I think that it will be quite smooth. And let's hope for the best, although I have some reservation, but let's see, we are just at the beginning. And the formation of the running teams and the candidates. So let's see how it plays out.
Okay, thank you. Back to you, Declan. We've often seen that the Deputy President, William Ruto, is increasingly framing this elections as a battle between hustlers and dynasties. Hustlers being young people that are coming up and, walking with no family support. And dynasties, families like those of Uhuru Kenyatta, whose father was a former president, and also Raila Odinga, whose father was a former deputy president. Is he really being a force for change, or is it just mere politicking? Because this man that claims to be a hustler has been fingered in corruption scandals and graft. So is he really the man to bring about change, or is it just politics?
So look, I think his rhetoric is somewhere in the middle, right? He does have this enamoring story, rising from poverty to become, the second most powerful man in the country. The other component that does resonate with the public is there's an enormous amount of people who are living in excess of government services, of formal economic employment, and who need to kind of literally hustle out in existence. The other thing that's really important to identify, and this is actually for both campaigns, but it really does come through with Ruto's campaign, is he has built a genuinely multi-ethnic coalition. There are supporters genuinely who go out and turn out and in supporting him from all points of the country. And so in many ways, whether you align with Ruto or not, the campaign, his campaign, and then also Odinga's campaign, are really kind of what people have always dreamed of in terms of having it less about one tribe dominating over the other and bringing in people under a single coalition. So as uncomfortable as that may make people, that is also an important success that he's achieved.
I'd like to start with you, Declan, especially on the issue of Raila Odinga's running mate, Martha Karua. Now, if you look at her track record, we know she contested the 2013 presidential elections and emerged a distant sixth with 43,881 votes. She also contested a gubernatorial seat in Kirinyaga County, where she lost. Now, how much electoral value does Martha Karua bring to the table for Raila Odinga?
Look, so that's a great question, and that's also something a lot of people are asking. I think that more people would probably be comfortable identifying Martha Karua as a technocrat, somebody who has extensive knowledge of the Constitution, someone who has spent a lot of time really looking to reform government and improve government in many cases, and that's where a lot of people would find her. However, if you look at a lot of the polling data that's come out, she has ranked fairly consistently as somebody that respondents believe Odinga should have chosen. And I suspect that to a certain extent, those polling data, those that have been made public and likely at Odinga's own internal campaign data, are pointing to her as somebody that's important, particularly having a Kikuyu on the ticket, given the stakes of this race.
Now, Szabolcs, we've seen a lot of politics of ethnicity still playing a part in Kenya, because both running mates are Kikuyus, so you can't discount what ethnicity plays, the role it plays in Kenyan politics. Now, what are the issues on the front burner in this campaign, and what should be the priority? And what are the priorities for the Kenyan electorate? What do they want to see, and what are their immediate needs?
I think they, first of all, they want a peaceful election, regardless that if we go back a little bit in the 2007-2008 election, which was full of electoral violence. So I think for them, the most important is to have a violent-free election and not to have any more, let's say, inter-ethnical and division inside their societies. And for them also to be as smooth as possible, and also to deal with the current issues of the state, of the nation, which are the security issues, and then we have the climate change, and then we have other problems like economics and also how COVID hit the Kenyan economy. So I think for the best interest for all parties involved in the electoral campaign is to be as smooth as possible and much more violent-free as possible.
And from what you've seen in the campaign so far, do you see the politicians staying on these issues? Because I've seen a lot of mudslinging. He did this, this person has said this, and all of that. Have you seen the candidates trying to address some of these issues you raised?
As you know, it's a quite a particularity for Kenyan elections as the E-Day draws closer, then the tension and also the emotions involved together, much as supporters and votes possible for the final push. It can change a lot. So it's quite early. For what we see, what we observe now, I think all of stakeholders involved, also as the international community and also the Kenyan for themselves, they want to see smooth elections, and they don't want to repeat again the 2007-2008 violence that they had. So I think everyone's interest will be to be the peaceful as possible.
All right, now, Declan, what we've seen so far, are you satisfied with the level of preparedness of the Kenyan Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission to organize free and fair elections in August? I mean, if you look at Kenyan elections, it's more of a money politics election.
Yeah, so that is a really important question. I think if you speak to people both on the streets as well as individuals who look at this closely, there are looming questions as to whether the IEBC is able to administer this as effectively as the public and others really expect. There hasn't been enough signaling, information sharing from the IEBC that would suggest that they have either progressed since 2017 or closed some of those gaps that are needed. And so there is a confidence issue, I think, in the public with regard to their ability.
Thank you very much, Declan and Szabolcs, for being a part of the conversation. I'm afraid this is where we drop the anchor on today's conversation. We appreciate your insights on the subject.
Thank you.
Okay, that's it on today's edition of The Conversation. We looked at Somalia, and we just concluded our conversation on the choice of running mates by the major candidate in Kenya's upcoming elections. I'm Gbenga Aborowa.
And I'm Rita Omodia. See you again on Wednesday.
Bye-bye.